Let's start with Neville and Ruston slugging it out. Two of the top 12 teams in non-select Division I. Sophomore sensation Ahmad Hudson continues to draw plenty of eyeballs. Gets off to a great start with the spin move. Tigers 15-7 on the year. They also feature a sophomore. Parker Robinson is his name, and he's got a nice game. Drills the three. Low scoring first half. Dentarius Sutton tries to change that. Takes it hard to the hole. The hoop and one. We go to the half tied at 22. Neville's Alan Fisher comes out, hands the three, but then Hudson just takes over. This is what you call protecting the rim. One block, 2 possessions later, another rejection. Now watch the 6'7" big man run the court. You gotta feed him, right? The Bearcats do. Ruston 10-4 on the year, starting to pull away. They built a 10-point lead. Guess who's there to clean up the glass? Yep, it's that guy again. Ahmad with 26 points, 16 rebounds, 4 blocks, 4 steals. Just another day at the gym. Ruston wins this one, 58-46. Over at Sterlington, a big-time matchup between the Panthers and the Carroll Bulldogs. Plenty of stars on the court for this one. And there were a ton of fans on hand to check them out. Let's start with this week's Aaron's Ace. Cooper Nelson gets started with a 3. That would get the student body fired up. Bulldogs looking to quiet the crowd. First is Traylon Neal looking for a pass. He'll find Jaden Williams in the corner and nails the three-pointer. Bulldogs enter tonight number 2 in the non-select Division II power rankings. Williams driving the floor here, finds his partner in crime this time. Neal knocks it down. Bulldogs spring out to an early 7-point lead. Panthers trying to stay in it. Nelson doing a little shake and bake before finding Noah Crane for the 3. They're down by 11 at the half. In the second, there's just too much Bulldogs. Traylon Neal takes over, scoring from inside out. He finished with 27 on the night. Bulldogs win this thing 71-52. All right, how about the girls game? Lady Bulldogs looking to replicate what the boys did, but this one was all Panthers from the start. In fact, the first quarter, it was 22-4. Lady Panthers 14-7 and holding down the 4th spot in the power ratings. Sophia Fletcher hits a jumper there. Then on the inbounds pass, Randall finds Austin Carter, who knocks down another one. Evie West was blocking shots all night long, dominant from start to finish. Your final 69-37.